Focus on more than just loop station. You need to be honest with yourself. I am coming to my final point. Fuck your music. And I'm gonna tell you why Robin won GBB 2023. Okay. These last 2 years have been an amazing learning curve for me, and today I kind of want to talk about my own progress, what I learned, and how I built up to becoming the GBB champion. I know this is a bit of a different type of content, nonetheless I hope you will enjoy. I will be doing a bit more of this in the future for sure. So yeah, no jokes, no bullshit, at least not a lot of it. I have been looping for around 5, 6, almost 7 years I think. And over this period, I progressed a lot as a musician, a looper, a beatboxer, a human being. For the majority of my loop station career, I was known online as the meme guy, the guy with the funny routines. What bullshit is he gonna bring next? Which I don't really dislike. You know, I was fine with it. It was fun. I was making stuff that I wanted to make, that I could have fun with, that I could entertain people with, you know? But this also had its limits, I feel like, because at one point I did realize that it wasn't really sustainable and I wasn't progressing anymore. The moment I realized this was actually in 2023 for the World Loop Station Championships. This was once again another event that I didn't take super seriously, that I barely prepared for, and where I didn't think highly of myself. Yeah, for the people who don't know, I have been in the online Discord beatbox loop station scene for quite a while. It wasn't even loop station at first. I actually started on TeamSpeak, doing solo beatboxing through my laptop microphone. It was horrible, but I remember Zero just dominating the scene. I met my first Belgian beatboxer on TeamSpeak. So I really started way back, but I didn't really progress. I was just vibing, chilling, learning little by little, but like really teensy steps. But then after TeamSpeak, I got my loop station. I started doing online battles, wildcards, and this was happening for like 3-4 years maybe. Everything was online, you know, COVID, with GBB online World Championships, everything was happening online then. So I tried my best to progress online because I didn't really have too many other options. But yeah, as I said, I did a lot of bullshit online, you know, fun stuff, entertaining stuff, and people didn't take me seriously, which understandable, you know. I didn't expect people to take me seriously, but at the same time, this was a setback for me in my mind, because sometimes I did expect it. Sometimes I did want people to take me seriously, and because of the bullshit I did, because of the memes I made, people couldn't and didn't, which is understandable. But like I said before, in 2023, a switch flipped in me, where I realized I need to change something. I need to start putting effort into what I do, like actual effort, you know? So I did exactly this. Going into the World Loop Station Championships, this was my mentality. I'll see where I place. My only goal is to pass the eliminations. I don't even want to battle. My goal is not to win. Every time people ask me, and Yaswede, what's your goal with the World Championships? And are you gonna win, bro? I would have been like, oh, I guess we'll see. You know, we'll just see. I don't really care. And this is a horrible mentality. And I only realized this after. People who want to make music and just do loop station and also competition, but not seriously, fair enough to you. If you don't want to win, if you don't want to like progress, but just do your thing, that's fine for you. But for me, it just really wasn't fine, so I had to make a change. Everything that I did wrong at World Championships, I tried to flip for next year, for GBB. So in 1.5 years, I really had a lot of work to do. 2023 was the year that I started going to the gym. It was the year I started caring more for myself as a human being, more about my food, more about my appearance, the way I carry myself in public. The way I even cared for my hair and skin changed. It's important, and some people don't realize this, but it's important to take care of yourself in these aspects, you know? But no, as I said, caring for yourself is really important, and that's something I learned in 2023, and that's something I have been trying my best to apply every day. While 2023 was a really good year for me, where I learned a lot of things and things I wanted to apply in my everyday life, I also started going down some paths that were definitely necessary, but now I look back on and thought to myself, I shouldn't have done that. It was the first time I tried bulking when I was going to the gym, but instead of bulking, I just got fat. Like, it wasn't a healthy bulk. I got fat. I gained 20 kilos. I looked horrible. I felt horrible. I even shaved my head after the NUE, where I got vice champion again, which also was a bit of a mental blow. You know, I lost against Smonal right after I got vice champion in the World Championship, so I was at like a lower point of myself. I gained a lot of weight. I felt bad. I was out of breath tying my shoes. It sounds insane, but it was the case. Horrible diet, horrible condition of my life. I even shaved my head, and then I quickly realized that shaving my head while I was at peak bulk was just not the play. But yeah, I didn't realize this in the moment. Most of the time when you're in a state of denial, it's a state in denial, because when I was at peak bulk, I was just convincing myself I was bulking, it's necessary. And in a way, it was necessary. You know, I learned an important lesson out of this. But yeah, after this, I did realize a change needed to be made. So I started losing weight and cutting and, you know, all this kind of stuff. I started letting my hair grow out as well, while also letting grow out a beard, which also, looking back on it, was just a mistake. But like I said before, an important step in realizing what I want, what I should do for myself. So 2023, vice champion too many times. I reached peak bulking, like fat levels. I was at a horrible condition. At least I was going to the gym. That's a positive improvement. I learned more about my hair, about my skin, all this kind of stuff. But 2023 passes, 2024 arrives. In 2024, I posted my GBB Loop Station Wildcard textures, which was a huge success, and I'm super grateful for it. I almost got first place in the wildcards, but nonetheless, I got in, and I was super happy to finally be in GBB after all these years. Now, this wildcard was once again recorded in peak bulk. So even when I did my lyrics, I was more out of breath than usual. The wind is doing its absolute best to expose my hairline, but I positioned myself in a way that it's not that easy for the wind. But yeah, after I got into GBB, I decided there were some changes I needed to make. First of all, by the time GBB arrived, I wanted to lose most of the bad weight that I had gained. Second of all, I wanted a cool outfit. And third of all, I wanted to work on my loop station tracks in a way I have never worked before. I wanted to be honest with myself. I wanted to put in a new level of effort. I wanted every track of mine to be as perfect as it could for GBB. And as should you. Not only about your beatboxing, loop station music, but everything. You need to be honest with yourself. Are you doing the best that you want to do for yourself? Are you practicing hard enough, or are you just making excuses day to day? Are you skipping the work that you should be doing? You need to be honest with yourself. And that's something I realized in 2024, especially after all the competitions I didn't take serious enough. After the weight I gained, I realized I needed to be honest with myself. And that's what I did. I changed my diet. I lost the weight. I practiced in a way I hadn't before. I made new tracks. I perfected the ones I already had. And that's most of the practice I really did, you know? I made sure to continue caring for my body, my food, my way of practicing, perfecting everything that I could, and not making too many excuses. Because while that I stand behind everything that I say in this video, even I to this day struggle with a lot. Like my sleep schedule, sometimes my diet, the gym. But just because I still struggle with it doesn't mean I can't preach it. I still firmly believe it, and I do my utter best to apply everything that I'm saying in this video. But yes, come GBB, I had made 2 new tracks. I lost almost 15 kilos and I felt better than ever. I learned more about my hair, about my skin, and I took care of it as much as I could. I perfected my tracks up until a month before GBB, because if you apply too many changes in your tracks and your way of battling to last minute, things might not go as you want, you know? So I tried to have my tracks ready the latest a month before, 2 weeks before. I didn't try to change too much anymore. And throughout this whole 7, 8, 9 month period of time, I applied everything that I just said. I stopped making excuses when people asked me, and Yaswede, how do you feel about GBB? Are you going to win? Have you prepared a lot? My answer to everything was yes. Yes, I am going to win. Yes, I prepared as much as I could. Yes, I want to win. you know, and a lot of people don't do this, and if you do this, you're setting yourself up for failure, and that's something I try to do in 2024 mainly, right before GBB. So to sum it up a bit, my loop station and music and tracks were the least of my worries. I try to work more on my confidence, my appearance, my state of mind than focus on loop station and music, you know? And like that, I am coming to my final point. Fuck your music. Especially in the context of a battle, a loop station battle, a beatboxing battle. You are standing on stage in the context of a battle, in a context of you have to entertain people. You have to entertain the judges, the people, and this is not only done by your music. I'm sorry, but that's not how it works in a battle. That's something else I really focused on in the preparation of my tracks on my loop station. My main focus wasn't the actual tracks, while yes, I wanted them finished and I wanted them to be perfect, but the extra layer that finishes a battle for me is entertainment. I made a whole notes list on my phone of how can I entertain the crowd, the judges? How can I battle my opponent? Where can I place jokes, battle moves, or a good mix of the two? Where can I place this when in a way that's not too much, that's funny, that's bonus points possibly for the judges? So that's what I mean by fuck your music. I want to be entertained when I see a beatbox battle. And if it's just music versus music, I am super bored most of the time. Of course, I will try my best to enjoy the music and what you're performing, but if you don't bring a level of entertainment, then it's not a good battle for me. When I watch a battle, I want to be entertained. I want to see a battle, you know? And I'm sure a lot of people agree with me on this. So what I'm trying to say is, when you go to battle in a beatbox battle, a loop session battle, a crew battle, a tag team battle, any kind of battle, make sure you have that extra layer, the reason people will remember you. If I can be so cocky, I think a big reason why people will remember me, in this case, is the way I am on stage, the way I try to entertain, the way I put bullshit and jokes still in my routines. And it's funny how it all loops back, because I started with a lot of bullshit and jokes, and I didn't change. I kept all the bullshit and jokes, I put them on top, and then I started working on a new layer of me being taken seriously still. Me taking myself seriously, you know, because I never did that. But yes, you need to have layers to your battle. And a perfect example of this is, because you might be saying, oh, Yaswede, what about Robin? First of all, I love Robin. His music and how he uses the MK2 is really smart, it's really entertaining. And I'm gonna tell you why Robin won GBB 2023. Let's look at Dice versus Robin. I preferred almost everything that Dice did on the loop station. Dice thinks differently, his EDM style is so clean, so entertaining, but like in the musical context, you know, sorry. But Dice's tracks fell flat sometimes because it was mainly music and focused on drops. The battle and entertainment aspect for me wasn't really there. He tried, but it still needs to work, you know? You can still do it and try it, but if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. Now let's look at Robin's first round in this battle. He made an entire routine based on Dice. He made lyrics for Dice. He said he's gonna lose for a third time against a French person. This is purely battle. Despite it being super musical, he also battled the fuck out of Dice in this way. Not only that, but the way he introduced his surprise EDM drop, that's the moment Robin won this battle. Because of this one moment. The first part was really creative and nice, but just the switch, the surprise, the battle finished this battle, in my opinion at least. To be fair, it's not even my opinion, it's just facts. That's why Robin won this battle. Now, I think if Dice added that extra layer to his battles, then he could have still won, because MK2 wise and tricks and creativity in the loops, he was far above Robin for me. Especially when it comes to the second round, because Robin's second round, it didn't even matter anymore, because his first round was so Dice oriented, so battle focused, you know. It was really smart, because all the rest of the competition, Robin did music. While I don't agree with this, and while yes, most of these battles were boring for me, this first round of Robin really just decided everything. That's the momentum he needed to win GBB. So yeah, a little summary. focus on more than just loop station. If you just sit in your room all day making music, fair enough. And if you just want to focus on music, again, fair enough. If you want to try and win battles, take more care of yourself, then just try to apply some things that I've said in this video. I'm sure they will help you out as they did for me in 2024. So yeah, I hope you like this new format a little bit. I will definitely be doing a bit more of this. Nonetheless, I hope you got some value out of this. Take yourself more seriously, you know, take care of yourself, be honest with yourself, and just work to a limit you can accept. So yeah, thank you for watching, and I'll see you soon in something else.